If you want my like, share, and subscribe, be much appreciated. This is Mel Kiper's recent draft, his 1.0, his first draft of the year, his first complete draft rather. It was interesting, good draft overall. From what I just saw the picks because I was downloading them into the app, but I didn't really get to catch a good look at it. You know what I mean? I was kind of just more, placing guys where they needed to be. So now we're just gonna take a look and we're gonna give it a grade. I don't know if I should. Again, I don't know if I should give it a point system or anything like that. Anybody have any advice on that? I would much appreciate it. It comes off a little pretentious to be trying to grade Mel Kiper's draft, but I'm just gonna give my overall opinion. So, beginning Cameron Ward, Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, all this is pretty standard. To the Giants, uh, Abdul Carter to the Patriots, it's all standard. Mason Graham, I got Will Johnson going there. A lot of people mocking Mason Graham there. That makes just as much sense, if not more. I like that pick as well. It really depends. Teddy McMillan to the Las Vegas Raiders. Um, they need a quarterback, so they could address it in the first round. Maybe getting a guy who you may not believe is a first round pick, or they could move up, or they could just wait to the second round. Either way, they can address their quarterback position. They're gonna obviously have to pay a guy in free agency, but they can address the quarterback position in this draft. There's some guys who they can develop. That's what coaches are supposed to do, develop. That's what coaches are for. That's what GMs are for. Make sure that they get guys there who can be developed as well. So, Michael Williams to the Jets. Now, that's not a pick I've seen normally. Excuse me, I adjusted my mic. That's not a pick I've been seeing normally. I like that pick. Could have went a few different ways with that. Um, but I really do. I like that pick. I like that pick as well, especially if Mason Graham is going. So usually in my draft, I have Mason Graham going to the Jets. But if this was to happen, I wouldn't mind Will Johnson there, right there for the Jets. So I like that pick nevertheless. Jalen Walker, this is about how I see it. Will Johnson um, to the Saints, smart pick. Very smart pick for them. He kind of solidifies that defensive backfield. They need to address the defensive backfield in general. They don't have a whole lot of money, but there's plenty of defensive backs in this draft. And that cap hit by Carr is crazy. So, um, yeah, they're gonna really need to nail the draft. But there's some moves they can make. That being one of them right there. Will Campbell to the Bears. That's about how everybody sees it. Kelvin Banks to San Francisco. I have a high grade on Kelvin Banks. I think he did this more because of fit. This is a proper fit. I like Kelvin Banks more though. I would probably switch that, but for the purpose of fit, that these align. I like these two picks. So far, Luther Bird comes to the Cowboys. It's a good draft for receivers. Malachi Starks goes to the Miami Dolphins. That's pretty standard. What people are thinking. Hopefully excuse me. Car was making noise. Hopefully for them they re-sign Holland. Um, I like Holland ever since he came out of college. I had a high grade on Holland before anybody else really did, but I always like Holland. Always like Holland. Tyler Warren goes to the Colts. Good pick there. I think they should move and maybe try to get Kirk Cousins. I can't exactly remember what they cap situation is. Maybe them and the Falcons take the hit on that, but that'd be a good idea for them to kind of so they could sit my guy for a couple years and develop him and actually have a team they can what I'm saying they can actually have a quarterback they can actually play with. Um, Shamar Stewart goes next. I'm a big fan of Shamar Stewart. He will have to go to the right team. I don't mind this. I don't mind this. It really just also depends on what they do in the rest of the draft, but I don't mind this pick at all. I have a good grade on him. Tyler Booker, um, very good player, very talented player. A little higher than I would put him. I have him more in the mid, more in the 20s, so to speak. But it's not. I mean, that's apples and oranges. It's kind of nitpicking. But good play. I like the fit for sure. Jahad Campbell. This one is a surprise. I don't hate it. Also, I feel like they have some players at linebacker. A lot of those guys are getting older. I'm pretty sure, and a lot of those guys' contracts are up. They need another linebacker. I don't know if I would have did this. I probably would have went D line here. I just feel like that's more. And then there's some other linebackers they could get later on in the draft. They're not going to be as good as Jahad Campbell, but I think very highly of Jahad Campbell. Like I said, if you listen to any of my other drafts, I have a premium on linebackers and running backs always. So I don't hate it. Mimbu's moving up in the draft. He's very talented. I think he needs a couple years. I think he needs about a year to sit though. So he goes here. He could see the culture there is so good that, and the quarterback play is so consistent that they could do this. You know what I mean? It makes sense. They have the room to be able to develop him properly. Gino gets the ball out quick enough that this kid don't have to hold blocks for too long. You know, he can actually just play football as opposed to being too worried about all the rest of that stuff. They got him classified as a tackle. He's more of an inside player. They got him as an inside player here, but his position in college he played more outside. But yeah, I like that pick. I like the player. Nick Worry. I like that player. I like the team fit. I probably would have went edge, but I love Nick Worry. I have a late first round grade on him, so get him here at 19. It's not a bad. You could also with Igbuka here. A lot of things you could have did, but I don't mind the player pick at all. Ashton Genty goes to Denver. Smart pick. Very smart pick. It's a good idea. I would imagine that's what they would do if he was sitting here. Shit, I would imagine that's what Tampa would do. Would probably pick Genty if he's sitting there, you know, to go along with Bucky Irvin and all the rest of that. Like Booker sneaks into the first round. I'm a late first round guy on Nick Booker. If any team, I kind of mock him either to the Chargers who pick I think right after this, so it's not that's not a big deal, or the Buffalo Bills. So he sneaks right here. Not a bad pick. Not a bad pick. I'll probably go corner here. Me most likely, I'll probably go corner or DB, but not a bad pick. Coastal Loveland goes next to the Chargers. I said this in many drafts before. I would be very interested in seeing how he works out with the quarterback there. That's going to be interesting to look at. Mike Green, a little high for me for Mike Green. I have him in the second round, early to mid second round. I have a grade on Mike Green, but I know he thinks highly of Mike Green, and Mike Green is a very talented kid. He goes here, don't really have to do anything. Could just play football. You understand what I'm saying? They don't need him for anything. He can just go out there and play football. They'll spot him third. He'll be a package player. To begin with, Benjamin Marshall, good fit, natural fit there with the Minnesota Vikings. I like that pick. Josh Simmons. This is also a very natural pick. Josh Simmons going to Houston. I like the idea of that a lot. Makes a whole lot of sense. Connolly Jr. I don't think he'll drop this far, quite frankly, but good pick if they can get him. Great pick if they can get him. Javon Ravel, like I said in all the other drafts, he's ready to play. So any of these teams could have won Javon Ravel. I'm not gonna hold you. I would probably Pittsburgh. That's probably why I would have had him going right there. They gave him a book. I would have gave him Javon Ravel right there. So and actually switch Ibuka with Ravel. I would like that because Ibuka's that kind of receiver. He's the kind of receiver that Baltimore like. He'll like his role there. It makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Then who we got next? We got Pierce going off. People think he drops here. I don't think so. I think this is a good place for him. The right team at the right time, they'll know how to use him. They'll know how to utilize him. Nick Scrouton, people think he drops here. Not necessarily. Depending on how the draft plays out, but not a bad place for him. A good idea. Good idea. Good piece right here for them. Maxwell Harrison. I like Maxwell Harrison also. I think he can play all 5 positions in the defensive backfield. He's talented, quick, hard, a bit of a ball hawk. He was kind of sneaking in my first round also. Slowly but surely, I kind of was trying to find a place to put him, but it never really worked out. But um, he was kind of sneaking up. I had him in the second round. One time I had him in the third round, just the way the draft played out. But he was more or less in my mid-second round kind uh, um, of my picks. Excuse me. If I was trying to get this thing moved up. Okay, Kenneth Grant goes to Philly. Good pick. Good pick for Philly. And they'll know. And again, I like. There's something. It's not as natural as the other picks that I spoke on, but there's something natural about this also. Um, Man, if they mess around and get Kenneth Grant, it's gonna be ugly. I mean, it's gonna be ugly. But they draft well. They we all know the GM in there is spot on. So get a guy like Kenneth Grant. I mean, I don't know, man. It almost seemed unfair a little bit. I'm not gonna hold you. And Walter Nolan goes the last pick. I got a early second round grade on Walter Nolan. Early second round grade on Walter Nolan. The player team fit makes sense to me. That's really what's going on here. Overall, that's a solid draft, as you would expect. Again, it is Mel Kipers. Mel Kipers 1.0. I'm gonna give you one more overlook. Pretty good draft there. I like it. I would did a couple things different, but it's really just difference of opinion. I don't see anything here that's egregious or anything crazy. Makes a lot of sense. The player team fit is what stands out to me in this draft. He did a good job of that, putting guys with the right in the right scenarios to for their success and the successes for the team. Everybody can't really do that. Obviously, he's Mel Kiper. So if anybody can do it, I mean, I would imagine he could. Again, I would imagine he could. But this is a good draft overall. That's a nice, solid draft there. I don't know if I should grade it. Should I grade Mel Kiper's draft? If I was giving it a grade out of 5 stars, see, I don't know if I should do that. I don't know if I should do that. I would say 3.5. Or maybe I should do it A B to hold on. Let me stop right here. Maybe I should do it A to F. I don't know. If I was giving it that kind of grade, I'll figure this out. I'll figure it out. If I was giving it A to F, B plus. That's a B plus. That's a pretty solid. It's about as solid as it gets. That's a good draft. Um, it's the kind of draft that keeps GMs employed right there. That to put it that way. So I'm going to be doing more of these, more mock to mocks. I'm going to be putting out my own drafts or whatever the case may be. Appreciate all the views. Appreciate all the likes, dislikes, however you feel. I appreciate all of it. And I appreciate you for watching. I appreciate you for listening.